show. Step off.
Come on, won't you say it loud? Ayo, we gon' turn this out. Tom Clock's main event. Dropkick now and powerbomb. Ayo, bro, let's bring this on. Hey, hey, wide is up. Oh, captain, my captain, shoulder stuff. Power slammer, suplex 2. Hot garbage is just for you. Big breaker, cut a code red. Figure 4, hot times ahead. Since 2014, it's on. It's a 10 count, but stand up strong. Hey kid, no DQ, strong style. Chop, this is how we do. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event.
Hey, what's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. Tom Clark back here with you yet again on another Friday. Happy Friday to you, kids, one and all. Hope you're doing good. Hope your week's been well, been good. How's everybody doing out there? It's been a good week for me. I usually say it's been an interesting week. Honestly, it's been kind of an interesting week this week. But we hope that you and yours are doing well. We hope that everything is going good for you guys out there, wherever you may be watching us from. We always appreciate you giving us your time and attention. We've had a big week this week for Boink Studios. If you are not checking us out, you absolutely should be, because Boink Studios, kids, let me tell you, we are growing by leaps and bounds. We have debuted 2 brand new podcasts this week. Ray's Sports and Slams debuted Monday live on the Facebook at 6 p.m. You can catch brand new episodes every Monday live at 6 p.m. on Facebook and streaming live to YouTube. And yesterday, the debut of the Patton Report hit Boink Studios and also on the audio platforms as well. So we're very glad to have Ray Dean and Chris Patton here with us. And also, Chris Patton's second brand new podcast, Bachman's Basement, premieres tomorrow at 10 a.m. And that will be 3 brand new shows here on Boink Studios. So again, we appreciate you checking it out. We appreciate you following us. You can follow us for free on the Facebook. There's no paywall, I should say. There's nothing you have to worry about. If you want to donate, you're welcome to donate. We appreciate any donations you guys want to give us. It would mean loads to us, but it is not required. So, yeah, look, man, it's great to have everybody here today. I do appreciate your time and your attention. I know everyone always wants to start their weekends. And I can respect that, because I'm trying to start mine as well. Oktoberfest is happening here in my town this weekend. What's going on with you guys out there, man? Before we get started here, how's your week been? Like we said before, and also, how are you doing? It's a good time to ask how you're doing. We always, we get cranking here and we talk about pro wrestling. It's what we do here on this show. This is a pro wrestling podcast, kids, and as you guys know, so yeah. But I'm just curious how you guys are doing. I hope everybody out there is holding up well. And it's good to see everybody here. As people continue to come in here today, if you will, smash the like button for me, kids, if you will, and share this around wherever you can. I appreciate it very much. Today is the 10th edition of Ask Tom Anything. So anything you guys want to talk about, please throw it in the chat. Within reason, let's stick to pro wrestling and pop culture. If you don't mind, please. Entertainment, pop culture, and pro wrestling. That would be great. We don't want to get too personal with anybody here today. And some topics people get really, really upset over. And I think you could probably figure out what we're talking about. But yeah, man, if you will, just whatever questions you have, please check us out or throw them in the chat there, as we said. And we'll cover some stories here of the moment of the day as well. So that way we are covering all of our bases. JP was the first to the table. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for hanging out. JP says, been rough, but a good week. Yeah, I feel the same way. Robbie, good to see you, my friend. Alma is here. Alma, hey, have fun at that conference. Be safe out there too. I appreciate you as always for tuning in. Yeah, it's been good here. Some family stuff happening this week. Nothing negative, but things that we're dealing with. So, yeah, everybody just send us some good vibes, if you will. Emily said she heard about Raven's diagnosis with Parkinson's disease. Raven's one of a kind, man. There's no doubt about that. And it's a shame to hear about that, but hopefully hopefully with the right medication and therapy and whatnot, he can still have a productive life. It can be a very, very terrible disease. And as we know, kids, once it starts taking effect, if it's bad, it's really bad. So all the best to him and his family, of course, for sure. I'm trying to remember when that news broke. I'm trying to find it here. Ah, there we go. 2 days ago, actually. Early onset Parkinson's disease. So yeah, all the best to him. Before we get some questions here in the chat, before we really start diving in, let's take a look at a few of the headlines that are happening right now. Psycho Stu, this is the guy that, as you guys know, Roger Jackson, he pled no guilty. Roger Jackson was arrested. He pled no guilt, or he pled not guilty. But Psycho Stu apparently is done with pro wrestling, and he apparently will not be back in the ring again. And Jackson, by the way, facing 2 charges related to the August attack. Not guilty in response to the charges, one of which is a felony. They could see him serve up to 7 years in jail. Convicted, he's facing 1 count of felony battery and 1 count of misdemeanor battery. And yeah, man, it's hard to comment on something when you're not there, but that footage is horrific. It is absolutely horrific. But yeah, Psycho Stu's in-ring career looks like it is over. This is what the Wrestling Observer is reporting today. Actually, while speaking with TMZ, Douglas Mallow, that's actually Psycho Stu. Actually, I'm sorry, Douglas Mallow, from what he's heard, Stu's career in the ring is done. He's a friend of Stu's and one of the guys who intervened to stop Jackson's attack when it occurred at Knox Pro Wrestling Show on August 23rd. So yeah, as we said, U.S. Army veteran. We talked about that before. His GoFundMe, kids, raised more than $220K. So that is great news for him. God knows how much that money is going to be handed over in medical bills. Welcome to America, baby. What's up, Ray? Thanks for hanging out. As we said before, kids, please be sure you're following Boink Studios so you can check out Ray's Sports and Slams live every Monday at 6 p.m. JP says, do I really think Jungle Jack Perry is going to stick with this face image, or is he going to turn on Luchasaurus? I wouldn't. I think Jack did the best he could with that heel turn. I think he did very well. I think Jack is a very convincing heel. I think the scapegoat gimmick was fine as long as Punk was there. But it didn't really overlap all that much, if I'm remembering correctly. And honestly, the guy was running a gimmick that was directly tied to CM Punk, a wrestler who was no longer there. So I'm absolutely glad to see that gimmick's over. If it were me, I would say he and Luchasaurus stay face. Both of them stay face for a good long time. I just don't see any reason for those guys to turn heel. But it's AEW, baby. They do what they do, and it is what it is. But no, I don't think there's going to be any sort of turn. I've been wrong before, everybody. But yeah, fingers crossed. I do not think that we're going to have to really worry about that too awful much. But hey, that's me talking. They could do whatever they want, right? Maria, glad to see you. I appreciate you very much. Maria, in case you didn't know, this is the 10th edition of Ask Tom Anything. That is ATA. That's Ask Tom Anything. You guys like that? Yeah. That's what we do here. We like to brand stuff. As you can see by that, we like to brand stuff. Ask Tom Anything 10. Let me spell that out for you. Maybe I should. That way, in case anybody pops in. This moment of typing brought to you by your friends at Tom Carr's Main Event. Boom. There we go, kids. The 10th edition. Can you believe that? By the way, kids, this is episode 395. If you've never watched the show before, hi, what's up? I'm Tom. I usually do that in the intro. Forgot all about it. But this is my show. We talk pro wrestling here, and on some occasions, we open the floor, and other occasions, you can ask Tom anything, which is what you're doing here today. This is the 10th edition, episode 395. In 5 weeks, kids, episode 400. Huge milestone for the show. Cannot wait. We're going to try to fill the room up with some guests. So hopefully that would be fun. That will be fun. Fernando, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for watching as always. JP says, just seems to getting a slow start Jungle Boy still has his heel beard. Yeah, he hadn't changed his gear. Here's what I'll tell you. I think we're fine. Again, AEW does some really wacky stuff sometimes, yeah. But honestly, I think we're good, man. I don't think we have anything to worry about in terms of, Jack Perry turning anytime soon. I think we're good. I actually happen to really like this. I don't know how I'd feel about it. I'm actually here for it. I think it's going really well so far. And they've not done much. I think that match against the Bucks is going to help. I think it'll help tremendously. But yeah, fingers crossed. Let's see what else is going on. Let's see here. Mercedes Moné hoping to return to to Japan sometime soon. What did you guys think about Lacey Lane versus Mercedes Moné on this past Tuesday edition of Dynamite? The former Caden Carter. First off, she is great. Can we admit that? She is great. She's very, very good in the ring. She's got a smile and a face that you could print on posters to get people to the arena. She's got the look, right? She's very, very solid in the ring. I think she's got tremendous star power. Don't know how far she's going to go in AEW. Not really sure, but I like her a lot. I liked her a lot as Caden Carter. I think I like her even more now. Can I be honest with you? Robbie says, tomorrow night I'm going to see some wrestling from a small, no pun intended, wrestling company called Extreme Midgetator Wrestling. Oh my goodness. And then on November 1st, a company called Rampage Wrestling in Lubbock, Texas, returned to Abilene, Texas with my housemate Joe. Fantastic, Robbie. Have a great time. Here's what I'll tell you, Rob. Interesting that you bring that up. When I was back in the business here in North Carolina, we had talked a couple of times in a promotion I was working with about bringing little people in, the guys, the little wrestlers. And what I was told was that they're very expensive because whenever they come to town, they pack the place out because it's an attraction. And I don't mean that in a bad way. And if anyone goes to see it thinking anything other than this is going to be fun, I mean, I think that's the whole point of seeing little people wrestling is that it's fun, that they still hit hard and it's really good, but like there's a huge element of fun entertainment there. Of course there is. That's all pro wrestling. But that's what I was always told at the time I was in the business was, we talked about maybe getting some little people in for a show, and it's like, man, you got to pay up because they don't come cheap. Which I mean, I would be perfectly okay with that, honestly. Fernando says, is Tony going too far to book shock TV like the Death Rider suffocating people, or Darby trying to attack Moxley with a cocktail bomb? I don't know. I mean, how far is too far with AEW? What's the line? Is there a line? As you said, Fernando, we've seen suffocation. We've seen a fork straight to the head in full view of the camera. I mean, as we've said here on the show many times before, there's a time and place for extremely, rough and aggressive pro wrestling. There's time for hardcore. There's time for street fights. There's time for brawls and time for bunkhouse and blood and guts. By the way, blood and guts coming to Greensboro. It's like 2 hours from me. I don't know if I'm going to go. But, yeah. But I don't know that time for those type of matches is every week. And I sure don't know if it's every month. I think once in a while is fine. The problem is we know, kids, as with anything else in this business, the more you do something, you're starting to overdo that something, right? Then it becomes no longer special. And I think that's what's happened to a large degree with the violence in AEW, that it used to be special. It used to make the product stand out. And sometimes now, depending on what fans are complaining or what they're talking about in any given day, it's kind of all they do. And it's a shame, but it happens quite a bit in AEW. And if it's not for you, you tune it out, right? You tune it out. Am I going to check out Bound for Glory this weekend? I don't even know what's on the card. Can I be honest with you? I'm not trying to sound ignorant, but I'm ignorant on what TNA is doing right now because the WWE connection, I'm just not here for it. And business is business. If that's what they want to do, go with God, brother. I don't care. But like, I just, right? Yeah, it's up to them. I've always wished these companies luck. I wish TNA luck, and I hope everything goes well. I hope everybody's safe. Hope it's a good show. Hope everything goes well. But yeah, I don't know. I tell you something right now. I miss the days of Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Chris Daniels, Motor City Machine Guns, America's Most Wanted, even Shark Boy back then, Jay Lethal. I mean, just Black Machismo. That was some fun stuff, man. Those days in TNA, fun stuff. I miss those days, man. It was so exciting to see TNA back then too, because we hadn't had any full time pro wrestling other than WWE in a while, and it was very, very cool. So yeah. By the way, kids, we can always talk a little bit about Crown Jewel if you guys would like to. I'm sure a lot of you will be watching, and if so, that's fine. It's not WWE's not my thing anymore, and because we don't cover it too awful much. But I also don't want to act like it's not happening and turn a blind eye to it. So if you guys want to talk about it at all, it is, of course, happening tomorrow from Riyadh, Oy vey. And, John Cena's final match on Saturday night's main event is coming up as well. So that should be interesting. There's 5 matches for Crown Jewel as we speak. Cody Rhodes, of course, SmackDown's Undisputed WWE Champion versus Seth Rollins, Raw's World Heavyweight Champion for the Crown Jewel Championship. Stephanie Vacour, Raw Women's World Champion versus Tiffany Stratton, SmackDown's WWE Women's Champion for the WWE Women's Crown Jewel Championship. They'll be fully clothed, don't you know? Fully clothed. John Cena versus AJ Styles, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed in Australian Street Fight. That's 5 matches. I would suspect we might have a couple more after tonight, but we shall see. Ba-ba, ba, ba-ba, ba-ba. JP says, I'm glad to see Lacey Lane back. Hope they bring her back her partner to AEW also. That'd be good to see, wouldn't it? Maria says AEW should sign Lacey Lane full-time. I agree with the caveat. And the caveat is do something with her. Don't just put her in the locker room. Don't just put her on your roster. Actually do something with her. That's always my caveat. Because I hear people say things like they've got too many workers in AEW. I don't know if I've ever agreed with that, because I've always said as long as they're spinning the plates, they're good. I don't know if they always spin the plates with the roster. We don't spend all day on it. But we've said that many times here on the show before. Sign as many people as you want to, right? But at the end of the day, be sure you can handle that amount of talent. Now, whether or not they do it successfully, that's debatable. I think what's not debatable is the fact that there's many talents you never see on TV anymore, and you have no idea what's going on. You've got talents going and doing interviews on podcasts, whatnot, saying, I'm ready, I'm healthy, I don't know why I'm not on TV. He's got his favorites over there, man. I don't know. You can't argue that. You can't argue that. Chippy says AEW is trying to make themselves to an adult wrestling organization, so they push the boundaries. And that's fine. That's fine to a certain degree. But again, I think there's a time and place for it, and I don't know if all the time is the right move. By the way, kids, my son is texting me. Ba, 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 ba. There we go. Yep. My son never just calls. He always likes to FaceTime audio. I think it's got to do with some jacked up setting he's got on his phone. So yeah, who knows? But hopefully he's good. He's out with a friend of his, so anytime he's out, I try to get the phone. I try to get the phone anytime he calls, right? But especially if he's out and about. Good morning, David Down Under. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for watching again and checking us out. Maria says, should Chris Statlander join the Death Riders? I would say please and no. No, please, and thank you. I just don't think they need her. I don't think she needs them. I think, would it work? It would absolutely work, because Stat's great. That Stat can do anything. Do they need her? Nah. Does she need them? So why are you going to do it? I mean, Don Callis' family has 8 people. 8 guys now. 8. LFI has how many? Like 3 or 4, I think. Maybe more. Right, Death Riders is up to 5. Yeah, I mean it's getting there. It's that New Japan effect happening, baby. It's what they're doing. Fernando says, is the tournament deciding Cena's very last match at lazy booking by WWE? Not for me to say, but I would suspect maybe. My opinion, sure. Yeah, I think there's probably better ways to do it. But I would think that John has a lot to say. I mean, Gunther apparently is the guy. He's the guy. Is that confirmed? Is that official? I mean, just imagine you're the guy that retires Goldberg and John Cena in the same calendar year. That's pretty good. That's top level right there, man. That is top level. Dave, you going to go to Crown Jewel in Australia? Wow, did I say Riyadh earlier? I did, didn't I? It is Australia. My apologies. My apologies. And I knew that. I knew that. Are you going, Dave? I'm just so used to that Saudi Arabia crap. Saudi Arabia crap. No disrespect to those folks. What's up, Josh? Good to see you, my friend. Fernando says, what did I think of the season finale of Peacemaker last night? It's getting a lot of criticism. I have not seen any criticism about that, and I don't really care. Great episode. I didn't feel it as a season finale. I don't really know where we were going with it. I love the checkmate move. That was very cool. If you're an old school DC Comics fan like me, then you know what that is. I thoroughly enjoyed that bit because I did not see it coming, but there was a lot of slow motion walking and smiling and a lot of montages. And I kept thinking, are they not going to fight Flag and his guys at all? And then they just grabbed him and threw him in all the other multiverse. Spoiler alert. I guess that's what everybody's complaining about, right? I wasn't crazy about it as a season finale. I kind of felt like, well, this should be the episode before the season finale, maybe. It felt out of place. Can I be honest? It just totally felt out of place. I just don't know if I felt it. Love the episode because they're fantastic. John Cena is so much better today than he was when he first got into acting. I mean, you would hope so. The guy is tremendous, and I thoroughly enjoy his work now. This Peacemaker show is great, dude. Thank you, JP. I appreciate you. Rob says if they were to have a Lucha Libre Hall of Fame, do we know there's not a Lucha Libre Hall of Fame? Maybe there is. Who would be the first 5 inductees? Wow. I mean, Ray's got to be in there in the first 5, doesn't he? I mean, I guess people would say Mil Mascaras, but Mil wasn't exactly a worker. You know what I mean? God, that would be tough. I mean, who would you put in there, Rob? Not tough, but like spur of the moment, me sitting here trying to think about it. Gosh, that's a great question. Throw some ideas out there in the chat, kids. I'd love to know who you think. Ray's got to be in there for sure. And I'm blanking right now. Would you put Juventud in there? Would he put him in the top 5? Or would Hoovy go in like the top 15, top 20? Do you know what I mean? I'd be curious to see what you guys say. JP said, I think that ship has passed on Statlander or joined the Death Riders. Could be. Dave says, Dawn Callis family turning into the new NWO. There's a lot of those guys, haven't they? JP says, Gunther's not been seeing WWE for a while. Yeah. So Fernando, I never watched the second Tron film. I was a big fan of the original Tron as a kid growing up, the one with Jeff Bridges. The original. Big fan growing up. It's the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Right? Basically 8-bit graphics at that point, pretty much. I was a big fan. Never have followed back up. I need to. I just need to take time and do it. Josh says, here's my question. Why Mr. Hayes wants to fight The Miz because he needs to go back to NXT because he's not getting that push. Why Mr. Hayes wants to fight The Miz because... Josh, I can't speak very on an educated level right now about what NXT is doing because I don't watch the show. There again, I guess I'm old school, but NXT was at its best when it was Tommaso Ciampa, Gargano, Adam Cole, just all those guys when Ricochet was there, and they were just all crushing it. I'm not saying those guys should never let. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that was the peak era of NXT for me. They were just fantastic. NXT at any given time was much better than Raw. Much better. I don't know if anybody's saying that now. If y'all are, that's fine. But I don't. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody else say it. Robbie, well done. Psychosis, super crazy. Villanos, that's a good call. Juventud and Eddie. Yeah, I was thinking Mask, but no, that's good. I think that's good. Robbie said Lucha Libre. I went to Lucha Underground. I watched Lucha Underground in real time. It was as it was happening, and I found out very quickly. Okay, this is not your daddy's pro wrestling. This is very different, and I appreciated the heck out of it. I thoroughly enjoyed that show. Honestly, fun stuff on there. Fernando says my favorite Public Enemy album. I'd say It Takes a Nation Millions to Hold Us Back. I would say. That'd be my answer. And I love me some Public Enemy, man. By the way, if you've not checked out Public Enemy's new album, you absolutely should, because it's very good. It's called Black Sky Over the Projects, Apartment 25. It is fantastic. Apartment 2025, excuse me. They're great. It's really good. And I'm not saying that it's great. It's great because it's PE. It's a great album, actually. Really good banging tracks on that album, dude. Should Mark beat Fletcher for the TNT title? I say yes. Not gonna happen. Not right now. But I'd be totally okay with it. I think it'd be great. Is it gonna happen? I don't think it's gonna happen right now. I love Mark Briscoe. We have carried and waved the flag for Mark Briscoe for a heck of a long time here on this show. And we will continue to do so. We are unabashedly Mark Briscoe fans here on this show, kids. You guys should know that. Unabashedly Mark Briscoe fans. I love that guy to death. And I think he is fantastic. Great character. Really, really great worker. I mean, look, we've been saying this for a long time too. At any given time is the best baby face in that company. I would say that Hangman is currently the top baby face in that company. Mark Briscoe is a close number two. A close number two. And some days it's flipped. Can we be honest? I'm just calling it like I see it, man. Just calling it like I see it. Let's see what else is going on here, kids. I got to catch up on New Japan. I'm not caught up yet on what's going on with that. I was in the middle of watching. Oh man, what? Not Rampage. What am I thinking? Remember the name of the show, Tom. This moment of humming, this musical interlude, brought to you by your great friends at Tom Clark's Main Event. Is it Damage? Destruction. There it is. Yeah, I was in the middle of watching Destruction and have not finished it yet. So, yeah, I got to get caught up, man. At any given time, I'm totally caught up. Other times, I'm not caught up. I got to get caught up. Oh, I see. JP says Miz turned on Carmelo Hayes last week. Miz turns on everybody. Yeah, they can do what they want. I like Miz. I think Miz catches too much crap from people. But I will also say that Miz hasn't changed his gimmick in 20 years. Hasn't even done a variation of it. It's the same thing all the time. Miz wrestles the same match and does the same gimmick all the time. And look, that's fine. I'm not here to judge. I don't care if he does it or not. I don't care if he comes out in a mask next week or in a dress. I don't care. Do what you want to do. But it's kind of the same shtick every week, every single week. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I got to get caught up, man. I am behind on New Japan. Yeah, King of Pro Wrestling's happening. And, yep, got to get caught up on that as well. Yeah, jeez. KOPW tournament, baby. Tom, catch up. Fernando says, what are my thoughts on Taylor Swift laying the smack down the Rock at the box office? Boy, I got to tell you, of everything positive we'd heard about what is it, the Smashing Machine, Rock's new flick, Man, those numbers don't look good, right? Earned like 6 million or 8 million, I think. I mean, look, here's what I'll tell you. I think a lot of that has to do with how many screens did it land on and during its opening. I think that's a lot to do with it. How much was the film marketed ahead of time? Because, millions and millions and millions of dollars are spent on marketing. But it was not a big budget film, yeah? Pretty sure. So that's some. And, I got to be honest, kids, we've talked about this on the 6M podcast recently, actually, available on the YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Hey. But we talked on the 6M podcast recently about the era of movie stars is over. Denzel's probably the last great movie star. When you would go to see a movie for the guy in the movie, not for the ensemble cast or for the characters you're going to go watch, but for the actor that got you there. And that's okay. Things change, things evolve or de-evolve depending on your point of view. Yeah. But I think that has a lot to do with it. The fact that these studios think they could just throw The Rock's name on a marquee and think people are going to line around the block to see him. That's just not the case. It's not the case. People need a reason to go to the theater, man. Movies are expensive. And I'm not saying this is a blanket statement for everybody, that I speak for everyone. But movies are pricey. If you want me to leave my house, go see a movie, I'll make it worth my while. And give me something I want to see. I'll get off my couch and go see a Marvel film. I'll get off my couch and go see something big. But if you say, here's a movie with a lot of talking, and it's got great actors in it, but man, and movies don't have to have car crashes and guns and stuff. Don't get me wrong. Don't have to have capes either. Of course not. But again, you're going to ask me to go with two people spend 60, 70 bucks in one night? Nah, I can't. That's not happening. I guess I'm not doing that. I'll wait for it to come on streaming. That's me talking. I think maybe that's some of the stuff that was happening, man. JP says there just aren't any good action movies out there that The Rock was known for. I mean, you know this, JP. Everybody knows this. At any given time, that can come back. These movie trends go up and down. They change, they ebb, and they flow. And what was hot at one time is not hot now, but it'll get hot again at some point. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it could all come back. I mean, there'll be other action movies to come out. Transporter. The original Transporter, like the original first John Wick, was like out of the blue. Like, what is this? This is great. Do you know what I mean? But like, you get one of those movies every 10 years or something. Like, it's hard. Like, Nobody. They made a part 2. It's fine. We didn't need it. But like that first Nobody, wow. I mean, the first Equalizer. And I mean, I really enjoy the trilogy, don't get me wrong. But that first Equalizer was out of nowhere too, wasn't it? Like, yeah. That's the great thing about action movies, is that if you time them correctly with the right actors and the right script, they're fantastic. Sandy in Germany, good to see you, my friend. Thanks so much for hanging out. Kids, we've been on the air for a little over half hour. Before we go any farther, do me a favor and watch this.
Bachman's Basement premieres tomorrow on Saturday, October 11th. Join Chris Patton and Chris Clausen as they journey into Rage, the first Richard Bachman novel by Stephen King. You'll find it at 10 a.m. on Boink Studios YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
What'd you think, huh? Creepy. Just in time for October. I flubbed that line. Just in time for Halloween. It is the month of Halloween, kids, as they say. And that's the rumor. But yeah, man, a different kind of podcast. It's unlike anything we've done on Boink Studios before. Ray's show is unlike anything we've done on Boink Studios before. But we're so glad to have Ray Dean and Chris Patton on board. So glad to have their podcast capability, their hosting duties. They've been friends of my shows for a long time. Now they're doing their own thing. Chris has done his own thing before. So yeah, this is Ray's first shot out the gate. By the way, kids, please and thank you. Look in the chat, and if you don't see it, there it is again. Kids, if you will, please follow us on Boink Studios on YouTube. And you can also follow the website. That sucker's been updated. And I will share that here with you as well. All of the brand new shows are on the website now as well. There. BoinkStudios.com, everybody. BoinkStudios.com. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, JP. I love making this stuff, man. I'm a nerd about this stuff. I love making it. It's part of the fun of promoting. I don't want to peel the curtain back too much, but I do a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes. Can I be honest? A lot. If you see graphics and video and animations and Facebook posts, social media posts, and the YouTube thumbnails, that's me, baby. That's me. So I love doing it. I love I love it. It's the best time ever. I love being creative. I can't imagine sitting around and not being creative. I can't ever imagine just I can't imagine being told you can't create anymore. I don't think I could do it. I just give me a high bridge. Actually, I'm scared of heights, so maybe I wouldn't do a high bridge. Kids, bad news for Kota Ibushi. Kota apparently, possibly, right now it's a bunch of maybes, has suffered a broken femur in his match with Josh Alexander during Wednesday's AEW Collision taping that will require surgery. And it was first reported by PW Insider. And let's see, Ibushi fell off top rope to the outside of the ring, and his leg appeared to give out. He didn't make it back to the ring in time, and Alexander won the match by countout. Kenny Omega then made his return to fight the Don Callis family and attended to Ibushi afterward. The house lights were lowered as medical personnel assisted Kota, eventually carrying him out in a stretcher to an ambulance. And Tony Khan came out later and thanked the fans for being good fans, which I'm okay with that comment, and reiterated how dangerous wrestling is. Ibushi is 43 years old, kids, and he just gotten himself back in great shape, and it just made his return, and now this. So, yeah. And, this comes right after the injuries of, Swerve's out and Wardlow's out, Osprey's out. I mean, these guys, it's real, right? The injuries are real. Let's put it that way. Robin says Braun Strowman has been cast to play the iconic Jason Voorhees in either a reboot or the Friday the 13th or a prequel series of The Killer's Life. Do you think he could fill the original Jason shoes? I don't know, man. I'm not a big Braun guy, and Braun's a Carolina boy too, so I like that. But I'm not a big Braun Strowman guy. No disrespect, he's just not my kind of guy. He did all that weird angle stuff with EC3 back in the day, and he said a lot of weird stuff. And you try not to let people's views outside of wrestling affect your opinions, because we're all human. But in this day and age, I kind of feel like where you stand says a lot about who you are. So, not a big fan of Strowman. I don't wish him ill or anything like that, but yeah. Fernando says, should Okada and Takeshita win the tag team championships? Why not? Here's what I'll tell you that I saw from Dynamite Tuesday. Don't quote me, but it looked as though they did this angle where, they bumped into each other or whatnot, and they don't like each other and stuff. And then Takeshita went up and Okada grabbed his belt and just left. And Takeshi's like pushing on his arm, like, as if to say, you're supposed to come back and we're supposed to have a stare down. And Okada just walked off. We have heard forever, if you've been a fan for longer than 10 minutes, you've heard this, that the New Japan guys do not like the DDT guys. Takeshi's a DDT guy, okay? And Okada's New Japan through and through, okay? But that supposedly the heat is very real. They don't like each other. The companies don't like each other. Now, if New Japan can put Takeshita over the way they did in the Climax, G1 Climax, I would think Okada needs to get over it. And also, you're working for AEW now, so who cares about all that? Now, is there more behind the scenes than we know about? Possibly, because we don't know anything else other than what we think we know or what we've heard through the years. But Okada was not having that spot. Now, if that's how the spot was supposed to work, that's fine, but it felt odd. Like, shouldn't you stand around and jaw at him a little bit or hold your belt up and look at him or whatever you're going to do? Typical pro wrestling shtick. Didn't happen. It felt very odd to me. Sandy, I don't know, brother. It could be, I don't think it's me. I think it's StreamYard, honestly. A lot of that stuff happens. Shane says that just about everyone judges wrestling on Attitude Era, and I go back further. I just don't think there are any legendary superstars anymore. Sugar Shane, thanks for checking us out, brother. I didn't know you were even here. Hope you're well. Yeah. Judging everything by the Attitude Era is wholly ridiculous. You know, anyone that goes back and says Attitude Era is best era of pro wrestling, you're entitled to your opinion. But it's not. It was exciting, but it was also a lot of bad TV during the Attitude Era, man. A lot of bad TV. For as many great matches as we got. I mean, look, dude, if you're going to hold up today's era versus then, I'll take today's. I'm not kidding. I'll take today's anytime. I lived through all the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars. Beginning, middle, and end. I was there for all of it. Went to live events, watched every single Monday, bought the merch. Yeah, man. Wrote about it like crazy. I was there for it. I wouldn't go back to that. I'm much happier with the era we have now. JP says it takes a lot of heavy lifting to make it look good and professional. I agree. Trust me, I know. Fernando says, if Netflix buys Warner Brothers, what happens to AEW programming? I don't want AEW to be affected, but anything's possible. AEW should never go anywhere. TNA should never go anywhere. New Japan should never go anywhere. I'd like to see GCW get bigger. We need competition, everybody. It's okay if you only like WWE. I don't get it, but it's okay. It's fine. I don't care. But like, we should never want companies to go out of business or to fail. And the way I see fans come after AEW fans, the way I see AEW fans go after WWE fans, it's all just absolute nonsense. Just let people like what they like. You know what I mean? Oh, it's mind-numbing to me. Mind-numbing. Sandy says, thoughts on the Santos Escobar contract expected to resign? What is it? Oh, expired to resign now. I like Santos. Don't know how he's doing there. You could tell me better than that. Better than I could. How is he doing? Maria says, your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers from Carolina. Oh, God, you're going to put me on the spot. I mean, Rick billed himself being from Charlotte, North Carolina. Rick is not from Charlotte, North Carolina. Rick is from Minnesota. But he calls Carolina home. God, that's a good question, man. Mount Rushmore of wrestlers from Carolina. My brain is not clicking today, not firing on all cylinders. My synapses are not connected as they should be, as they have been in the past. Mount Rushmore of wrestlers from Carolina. You guys will probably come up with better than I can. When you go to other sports, it's a little bit easier because we got the greatest basketball player who ever lived. We can lay claim to that. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know, man. God, what a terrible answer. This is Ask Tom Anything. It's not get answers from Tom. It's Ask Tom Anything. I'm sorry to not answer you, Maria. I feel terrible. Greatest wrestlers from North Carolina. Well, let's see. Dax and Cash are both from here, pretty sure. JD Drake's from here. Rock and Roll Express are not from here. Let's see. I'm trying to think old school. Dusty's not from here. Dusty's from Texas, of course. Yeah. Wow. I'm going back to my head to NWA, actually. Sandy says, when is your Christmas tree up? November 1st, baby. You know how I roll here. I can't wait to put that tree up. You kidding me? Gonna be great. Sandy says, can't wait for Matt Cardona back in WWE NXT for one match. I love Matt Cardona, man. You talk about a guy that made his own way in the world. The Hardys, well done, Jeff, from Cameron, North Carolina. Well done. Well done, for sure. Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys. Better, Dusty Rhodes rival, Ric Flair or Tully Blanchard? I think it depends on what the goal is because it's two different rivalries. They're similar in as much as it's blue collar versus white collar for both guys. You know, Tully with your arrogance and your ego and the money, Flair, same reasons. But Flair was the pinnacle, and Tully was seen as the guy that could ruin things for you on the way to Flair. That's how I always thought of it. And Arn was the guy that would take you out before you could ever get to Rick, right? So the horseman dynamic very much in play. I think it just depends on what you're talking about. A bloodlust that can never be quenched, that is absolutely Tully and Dusty, I think. A game of one-upsmanship to see who's the better man, that's Dusty and Rick. That's how I would describe that. I enjoyed both feuds. Dusty and Rick gets the most press for obvious reasons, I think, but Dusty and Tully were fantastic. Fernando says TLC and Hell in the Cell was birthed by Attitude Era. Sure, I'll bite that. You're right. I still prefer today over Attitude Era. JB says there's news that TNA's getting a major network deal, and I hope they do. I hope it works out, and I hope that no one buys them, including WWE. Our Truth from South Carolina. Mm-hmm. But I am not South Carolina, and there is a difference. So trust me when I tell you that there is a difference. Depending on your opinion, your train of thought, there's a big difference. But I don't know if I'd say all that. I got friends in South Carolina. It's fine. But yeah, when people say the Carolinas, I'm like, yeah, let's get it straight. Do you know what I mean? Let's deviate on that a little bit. Let's separate that out as we should. So let's see real quick here, kids, because we are starting to wind down. By the way, all the best, Dakota. And I hope everything goes well with him. So yeah. Let's see here. I got to catch up on Ring of Honor this week too, for sure. Yeah, man. Well, look, you got the show coming up tomorrow. That'll be good, right? But like, it's kind of been something of a slow news week other than that, hasn't it? Not been a whole lot going on, I don't think. Let's see. Update on WWE Saturday night's main event. And let's see. Survivor Series creative plans. Supposedly Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship is scheduled to headline next week. Show's being held in Salt Lake City, Utah, November 1st. Not next week, November 1st. Pardon me. With Dave Meltzer noting that Tiffany Stratton versus Jake Cargill for WWE Women's Championship in a singles match between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu are also currently planned. So we'll see how that plays out. The War Games plans of 1 week ago was a men's match of Punk and Roman Reigns versus and Jacob Fatu and Jey Uso, along with a fifth man not yet decided, but Jimmy Uso and LA Knight are the two candidates against a heel team of Rollins and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and Brock Lesnar and Austin Theory. Yeah, that company can do what they want to do. I hate to be like that, guys. There's nothing against anybody here. As I said, if you want to like that stuff, you're welcome to like it, but I just don't. I don't care for it. Kylie Ray's contract as inaugural WID Women's Champion is not being renewed. Something of a surprise. I don't think anyone kind of saw that coming. And she spent 11 months in that program. Kylie Ray has been something, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think Kylie's maybe had more stops and starts than anybody in my recent memory that I can think of off the top of my head. And that's a shame because I like her a lot. But I will tell you this, that when she first came along and AEW started, I thought, it looks an awful lot like Bayley's gimmick. Or maybe Bayley's gimmick looked an awful lot like Kylie Ray's. Either way, that's all I could think of every time I saw her. And it was no disrespect, but it's all I could think of. And I thought, man, this is very close to what Bayley's doing. And, I think that is a problem. I don't think it's a death knell by any means. And Bayley eventually turned heel and did great. But I do think it's an issue if your gimmick is too similar to someone else's, honestly. Fernando says, do I think Vince McMahon on 10? I don't know, and I don't care. And I'm not trying to be short with you, Fernando. He can do what he wants. I don't care. That family is, yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. I got nothing to do with those folks. I appreciate your question, Fernando. You know, I never mean anything by it. Sugar Shane says, best KO punch, Big Show or Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin. I'll go Ronnie because, and I love Big Show. I love me some Big Show. I think Big Show's punch was more believable. Let's quantify my answer. Big Show's punch is more believable because he's huge. But Ronnie, calling him the Hands of Stone was great. The way he'd sit on your chest and after he hit you, blow on his fist, that's pretty cool. And man, when you took that thing the right way and snapped back on the mat, it looked like sheer murder, didn't it? Yeah, I love Ronnie Garvin. And you know, he had a tough road to hoe beating Ric Flair for that championship because they started booing him after he won the belt. You know what I mean? That's tough. Because Rick is just so well loved. If your name wasn't Dusty or Barry and you beat Rick at that time, it's tough. Ronnie, I don't think it worked. Didn't they take the belt off of him like 3 weeks later? It looked so weird on his waist too, didn't it? I thought it did. My favorite Christmas treat, Sandy asks. Usually in years past, I bake like a fiend. Cookies and cakes and cupcakes and chocolate and dipping stuff in candies. But I've been hitting the gym 3 days a week for 4 months now. So I might have to come up with something else new for Christmas this year. But I will say, favorite Christmas treats. I mean, to me, it's like over here, we'll take like Reese's crackers, put peanut butter in them and like dip them in chocolate. Fantastic. And there's other stuff that basically, if there's something that can be dipped in chocolate, we're going to dip it. Yeah. No wisecracks from the peanut gallery here, but yeah. To me, that'd be my answer. I don't do fruitcake. I don't know if fruitcake's a thing in Germany or not, Sandy. It ain't here. Well, it is here, but I ain't eating it. Oy. Ugh. Right. And maybe fruitcake's just got a bad rep. Maybe I've just never had a good one. Maybe that's what it is. Sandy, by the way, what treats do you have in Germany? I'd love to know. Rob says, Nation of Domination, good gimmick, or do you think it was racist in any way? Here's what I'll say, Rob. 2 problems with it. The company was run by a white guy, and that white guy was pretty racist. Sorry, call it like I see it. Or racist tendencies anyway, okay? That's the problem. Do the Nation of Domination gimmick in AEW? Different story. Do you want to know why? Company still run by a white guy, right? However, in AEW, that white guy is not handing you lines to read and a script to read. He gets your input. It's a conversation, not here's what you're doing tonight, as it is in the other company. That's the biggest difference. I mean, do we believe in 2025 that anybody would hand a female wrestler a script that says, go out there and describe your breasts and make lewd gestures and comments and, you know, cut your promos and very risque like Tony Storm's doing? No one's telling Tony Storm to do this. Tony wants to do this. Tony is owning her sexuality. She's owning her character. She makes the call for this. Do you see what I'm saying? Big difference between now and then. Big difference between companies too. Like, I think at its best, Nation Domination was pretty cool as a breeding ground for new talent. I'll say that. And I like Ron Simmons a lot. Great workers in that. Ron Simmons, great worker. You can't say enough good things about Ron Simmons, dude. First African-American WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Fantastic. Fantastic, man. Is AEW already more successful in WCW? I think you would have to define the metrics of success. If you're asking me if I think they're more successful today than WCW, they've outlived WCW, right? They've lasted longer. Do I think they're more successful? They've never touched WWE in the ratings. They've never done anything substantial in ratings. That much is true. Hey, boy.
Hey.
Here, say hey.
Hey.
Oh, see? Sorry I didn't answer you.
We're finna go to the Y for a little bit and drive around.
Okay. How's your gas?
Full tank.
Are you sure? I'm sorry. Did you text me?
Yeah, I texted you and told you what I was doing.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to miss it. Well, when are you going to go?
Right now, I'm finna get clothes and then we're gonna get Jade and then go over there.
All right. You need to do me a favor. You need to, whatever trash you have in your room, take care of it. Get your clothes off that banister down there, too, and throw them in your hamper. Be careful. Love you. Sorry, everybody. I got to talk to the boy. The boy says, hey, by the way. Fernando, I love your question. Do you think it is? Let me put it back to you. I'll put it this way. WCW was unwatchable in the end. Unwatchable. Okay? They made so many dumb moves and mistakes and weird stuff that it was absolutely unwatchable at the end. I tapped out. I couldn't do it anymore. I think I tuned in occasionally in the end. I just couldn't do it. It was too hard. Horrible, horrible booking. Have we ever sat back and said that about AEW? I'm talking about consistently. I'm talking about, not one show here and there, but a string of shows, a year's worth. Nah. In my opinion, I think it's successful. But if we're talking metrics, if we're talking ratings, then no. If we're talking impact on the business, talent-wise, I think the era is so different. It's hard to gauge those metrics. Love your question, but I think it's a little bit difficult. I think it's all subjective in terms of the success part because it's so hard to quantify ratings now. And plus it's a different time. There's no streaming back then. Do you know what I mean? No streaming, no Netflix, all that stuff. And there wasn't, people were still going to buy tickets, and people are going now, but you can also, watch streaming now. And there's so many different ways to watch and consume the content. It's just tough, dude. JP says North Carolina Mount Rushmore, the Hardys, Andre the Giant, Carl Anderson, FTR, and Cody Rhodes. Cody's a good pull. Andre's born in France. Right? Andre was French. Was he born in France and then brought here as a child? Or was he born here and, he was born in France, so he's not from North Carolina. So, yeah. I thought maybe there was a possibility that he was born here and then took to France immediately after birth, but that's not what happened. Sandy, thanks for hanging out, my friend. Fernando says, yes, 3-week title reign for Ron, Hands of Stone Garvin. JP says, favorite Christmas treats is fudge. I like fudge. Glazed ham or turkey? Thanksgiving both. Christmas just ham. I like spiral cut ham. Glazed spiral cut ham. Favorite Starcade? I'll say 86. Wasn't that the Starcade when Dusty beat Rick in the cage? Or am I thinking Great American Bash? I love Starcade. Sometimes I'll sit down and just watch entire Starcades. Just watch the whole shows if it's happening live. Just let the whole thing play. It's what I grew up on eating, man. Sandy says, I love to eat the Buchenfolge is only in Germany. Oh, brother, I wish I could pronounce that. It sounds interesting. Is it fudge or chocolate or something? Shane says, do you have an eclectic taste in music? How did you discover your favorite genre of music, and who was the artist? My favorite genre. Well, I grew up with rock. I have a mom, excuse me. I have a mom who had a very mixed taste in music. I grew up with a bunch of vinyl in my home. And she had, get this, she had like Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, but she had Queen, she had Kiss, the Oak Ridge Boys, Ray Charles, let's see, what else? Foreigner, the Eagles. So I had a little mix of everything back then, man. A little bit of Motown. So yeah, I grew up appreciating a lot of it. I never grew up liking country to this day. I think country is some of the worst music I've ever heard in my life. I don't understand this. I have to sing like I can't sing because I don't think most of them can. Sorry. Just because you can walk around saying, hey, y'all, ha, 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 doesn't mean you got to sing that way. Why is it that British singers, when they sing, lose their accent, but country people sound like they're still talking? Isn't that funny? I don't get it either. Country's not in my bag. I discovered jazz, which, by the way, I truly love jazz and I truly love the blues, but I didn't discover those till I was an adult. And Miles and Coltrane are my guys. Joshua Redmond, I'm a real big fan of. Blues, Muddy's awesome. Let's see, Robert Johnson, of course, legend. Jimmy Reed for me. A lot of like Otis Redding. I love Otis Redding. I love all the old soul stuff. Sam Cooke to a degree. I love Sam Cooke. I don't like Sam Cooke the person, not a great person, but as a singer, tremendous legend, right? But Reverend Al Green, love Al Green. But I like hip hop. I like old school hip hop. I'm a big Jay guy. You guys know I love Jay. But like I grew up liking rock more than anything else, and really wouldn't touch anything until I became an adult and my taste started changing. But I always try to evolve, man. I always try to evolve with my tastes. Do you know what I mean? I think it's important that we don't stay stuck in one place. I got friends who listen to the same stuff for 30 straight years and watch the same stuff for 30 straight years. If that's what makes you happy, it's what makes you happy. But I like to move forward. I like to try new things, man. What's up, Brad? Good to see you, my friend. When do I think Charlotte's going to turn heel again? I can't believe she hasn't done it yet. She's just a better heel than she is a face, I think. Good to see you, Brad. Fernando says, if Cody surpassed his dad, I would say no. Again, how do you gauge that? Dusty had more of an impact on this business. And I think Cody would tell you he could only hope to get a tenth of what his dad had. And Cody's done some great things. But Dusty Rhodes compared to anybody's extremely tough. You know what I mean? Extremely tough. I would say personally he has not. Cage match was the bash. Thank you, Fernando. I thought it was. The Starrcade where Rick beat Harley. Fantastic. That was in the cage. Rick didn't think so. Rick didn't think that was a great match, and he felt like it wasn't, because he felt like Harley didn't want to lose. And that match doesn't stand out to him as a great championship match. There was very little going overseas. You talking about WCW? Yeah, that's true. Fernando says top 5 Denzel movies. All right, I will say Glory's in there. Malcolm X is in there. Let's see. I love The First Equalizer. I think that's a great movie. Training Day's in there, right? What am I up to? 4? Man, that's tough too, man. I don't think Denzel's ever made a bad movie. Have you guys seen that newest Denzel movie on Apple? That is not a great movie. And I fully expected to love that movie. Spike Lee directed it and Denzel stars. It is not a great movie. It is impossible to get into. I kept thinking, did I get hit on the head before this movie came on the TV? Is something wrong with me? It's not a great movie, kids. I'm just saying. That's me talking. Fernando says, you remember the very first wrestling match you saw when you discovered wrestling on TV? So, Fernando, great questions today, man. So, pro wrestling for me was on my TV as a kid. My dad was not a baseball guy. He didn't care about pro sports. So on the weekends, wrestling was on my TV. Not NFL, not anything else. So I always had wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotions playing in the background on any given weekend, right? My first memory on the planet, and I got memories to this day of before I was walking, straight up. Still being carried, I have memories. No kidding. But my first memory on the planet was going to Star Wars is up there. Star Wars, the first Star Wars, the first movie I ever saw in a theater as a child. And I saw it when it came out. But the first memory I have on the planet is going to see pro wrestling with my dad. And it's back when Jim Crockett was going everywhere. And I saw 2 things I remember from that show is Ric Flair's robe and Wahoo McDaniel's headdress. 2 things. And they just stayed with me. And we had seats on the floor. Well, there were no risers in that building. It was probably a high school gym or something. I just remember being dark and smoky because everybody's smoking like they did. But we were on the floor, of course. But we had a good view of the ring. But it was awesome. Coolest thing I ever saw. And then me and Dad watched it all the time when I was growing up, man. For sure, I remember. JP says, I DJ for 27 years, but I like all kinds of music. I still love 80s hair bands. My favorite is Def Leppard. Def Leppard is a classic band. I'm gonna tell you something about Pyromania, Jeff. You know music, don't you? You can't turn Pyromania up loud enough. And you know what I mean, don't you? It's the way the album's mixed. It's not your volume. You can't get it loud enough. Even in your AirPods, you can't. Am I right? You can't get it loud enough. It's the way it was mixed. And I think, wasn't it Mutt Lange that did that album? Producer? The sound he got out of Def Leppard, they didn't think they had it in him. He was a taskmaster. He got it out of them. And he was right to do it. And they had a number one record with it. For how long? But it was, you can't get it loud enough. It's how the album's recorded. No matter what version I've ever tried to listen to, LP, cassette, CD, digital, Rock Rock Till You Drop's a great freaking song. Die Hard the Hunter, are you kidding me? That album, shut up. I love Diver Down too, man. On Through the Night, I love their first albums before Pyromania, but of course Pyromania ripped the whole thing open. Sandy says it's made with honey, spices like cinnamon, allspice, and often includes hazel. You had me at hazelnut, Sandy. I'm going to tell you right now. That sounds amazing. What's up, Belinda? Thank you so much for hanging out. Good to see you. Pardon me. JB says Pelican Brief. Great movie. David Down Under says my first memory of wrestling was watching Hulk Hogan slam Andre the Giant. Black and white TV. Nice. That was a memory. And he didn't think he thought Andre was going to kick out. I still think Andre should have kicked out. Ruin the whole thing. I'm not doing this for you. Right? Jeff, you know what I mean then, right? Yeah, it's something, it's so odd. Like you can't, I'm like, wow, I want this to be louder and you can't make it louder. It's awful. Like, not awful, but you know what I mean? The quality's not good. Oh, if you could just go back in time. If you get your hands on the master tapes before they did whatever they did and just listen to that, oh man, that'd be great. Crank it up. Bigger fan base. Rolling Stones, Beatles, or Grateful Dead. That's hard too. Beatles. Wasn't too hard, was it? I just, Grateful Dead have their fans. And some people traveled the world, certainly traveled the country, watching Grateful Dead shows. I've never been a Grateful Dead guy. I got massive respect for the band, massive respect for what they accomplished. I'm not a Grateful Dead guy. I didn't care about it. I didn't like it. Wasn't for me. Massive respect for them. I truly, I still do. I don't love the Stones, but I got a lot of respect for them. Exile on Main Street's a great album. We're going to do that on the 6M. Me and Chris is going to do it. Maybe this weekend. Can't wait. Beatles are it. And when I hear people don't like the Beatles, I'm truly stunned. I don't know what you're talking about. And you know, if you give them props, say, you know what, I don't like their music, but I contend that they are possibly the greatest band of all time. Their influence cannot be denied. Then I'm okay with that. I don't know how you don't like their songs. That's weird, but at least give them what they're due. And it's not like they deserve. Dude, they stopped deserving years ago. They're iconic. They are the Mount Rushmore. You know how many bands came after those guys who did everything they could to look and sound like them and never could? Is Ricky Steamboat the best baby face ever? I'll say next to the original Sting, yes. Next to the original Sting, yes. And I would say better than Sting. Sure, I'll say that. Ricky, fantastic. Fantastic. Really great. If we're talking about pure definition of the word babyface, then yes. JB says Def Leppard came to Denver last year and it was Pyromania 4th anniversary. They did every song. Was it awesome? Oh, that's cool. How's Joe's voice, by the way? Is it holding up? Better than mine, I imagine. My voice cracks, man. I've been doing this for 11 years, Jack. Not as long as Joe Elliott, of course. But yeah, cracking. Release the Kraken. What's the next movie you're planning on making a video about? Oh, man, for now, you know what happened to Tom Clark Reviews? Tom Clark Reviews hit a rut. I was recording every week, man. Do you know how much pre-production, how much planning went into that show? And I edit everything myself. I don't have any help on that. The post-production on that. Holy Lord. So much work. And I'm like, well, I'm going to start doing it every 2 weeks. And now there's 3 weeks in between. Something's got to grab me, man. Because as you know, I don't review movies. I review trailers on that show. Because if I review movies, it's the 6M. So I don't know, but something's got to grab me. We'll see. We'll see. All right, kids. I think that's going to do it for us. We've been on the air for an hour and some change. Thank you so much to everybody for hanging out with us today. Before we get out of here, really quick reminder, everybody, please follow Boink Studios on the YouTube. No paywall. Everything's free and accessible to everybody that wants to see and watch. Ray's Sports and Slams coming this Monday live at 6 p.m. on Facebook and Boink Studios. The series premiere is in the can. Please go to YouTube and check it out. A friendly reminder that Facebook is deleting past video streams as we speak. So if you're counting on seeing that on the Ray's Sports and Slams page, then you're going to be missing out because it will not be there after X number of weeks. They're going to pull it down and delete it. So it will be on the YouTube. It's on the YouTube for as long as we're there, kids. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, yeah? Also, the Patton Report premiered yesterday. If you're a fan of Pokemon, if you're a fan of, music, pro wrestling, movies, that's the podcast for you, kids. Chris does a bang-up job, and we hope you dig it. That's an audio version. Tomorrow, the premiere episode of Bachman's Basement at 10 a.m. in the morning. You don't want to miss it, kids. 3 brand new shows on Boink Studios. We are a podcast network with content dating back to 2014. Pro wrestling, movies, music, TV, books, video games, you name it, we've got it. Boink Studios on YouTube. Follow us on the Facebook at The Boink Studios, if you will. That'd mean loads to me. I know it'd mean loads to everybody that I podcast with. And look, since we're talking about it, why don't we drop that in here too? And look, if you will, go follow us on Boink Studios on the Facebook. That page has grown pretty well. So that's pretty cool. If you're following all the shows on the Facebook, I was like reposting everything constantly. I'm not doing that now. I'm trying to let everybody breathe. So Boink Studios will repost everything from all the podcasts, and I will as well. But if you're following Tom Clark's 6M podcast on the Facebook, you're only going to get content from Tom Clark's 6M podcast on the Facebook. And also, James, look who just showed up. What's up, Jay? Jay is 1/4 of the Bear Mode crew. Bear Mode, a podcast review of the Bear. That's right, kids. Episode 8, the season finale, came out this past Wednesday. We're very proud of that. We're very proud of this season. We hope you guys enjoy it. Jay, I'm going to binge Ted Lasso again. I miss watching it. I'm not going to lie to you. I miss watching it. So, yeah. By the way, kids, Ted Lasso, we've done the entire series of Ted Lasso to the new season, which is not debuted yet. That'll probably be coming next year. So all 3 seasons of the Ted Lasso show have been covered in video and audio form on Boink Studios YouTube. It's called Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Kids, it's another reason to go check out that YouTube. We give you plenty of reasons to stay alive. It's us and Marvel. There's no other reason to stay alive anymore. You know what kind of crap we're in over here? That's it. That's all we got. But it's enough, isn't it? Go check us out on Boink Studios for sure. I appreciate it, guys, very much. And do me a favor, kids. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks, as always, for checking us out. I told you my voice was going, man. Isn't that terrible? I might start doing some like tea or something. I've always been told that tea is the thing that'll do it. So, yeah, kids, that's all I got for you. Thanks, as always, for watching. Be sure to follow us on boinkstudios.com, Boink Studios on YouTube. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the show if you watch it tomorrow. Go see yourself some pro wrestling this weekend. Please do me a favor, everybody out there, especially in this country. Be safe, be smart, and give people a break. Would you? We're supposed to all be in this together. We've forgotten that a long time ago. Thanks, everybody, for always supporting us. I appreciate you very much. And we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next time, kids.